That was new. I haven't heard that one before. Okay, recording is officially in progress, apparently. Um, yeah, welcome. Um, my name's Jill Davey, and welcome to True North Insight and our drop-in meditation. Some of us are joining here on the Zoom, some are watching after on YouTube, and others may be listening later on Dharma Seed. So welcome to all of you, and wherever, whenever you're showing up here. Thank you for being here. I was curious and watching my own experience this afternoon as I was looking for something to teach tonight, that like I need to connect with it. It can't just kind of pick a topic. It needs to be something that I'm engaged with or feel connected with. And I was super tired this afternoon. I don't know why. I was just like crashed. Um, and then I was using this quality of discernment to see like what's happening and what's needed. And this discernment is an important part of the practice. Um, And I was realizing I didn't have the energy in the afternoon to do like a sit and meditate on breath or that kind of a practice. I just couldn't. And so I was discerning, what's needed. It felt like I needed walking meditation to move the body and, be mindful of the body, gentle with the body, and just getting some energy from the movement. Yeah, so I went outside and just did walking meditation on the path outside, and it was super helpful and what was needed. And then some energy came from the wind and the trees and the sun and the garden and the forest and the sounds and the beauty, um, energized. And yeah, so reflecting a bit more tonight on this discernment, and this teaching comes from Sayadaw U Pandita, and this beautiful book, which I'll share below in the YouTube and also in the chat here on Zoom. It's the state of mind called Beautiful. State of Mind called Beautiful by Sayadaw U Pandita. Translated and edited. So edited by Kate Wheeler and translated by Venerable, Vivekananda. And Sayadaw U Pandita was a successor to Mahasi Sayadaw and in the Burmese meditation tradition and lineage. And there's it's really 3 very short paragraphs in this book that were surprising to me. And it's the title of it is Qualities Needed During Meditation Practice. Qualities needed during meditation practice. And it's a compilation of factors that I have that's a bit unique that I hadn't quite come across before. He begins by pointing out here an important piece that is often overlooked, that begins with this: the crux of meditation practice is to sustain continuous mindfulness. We have, I don't, for some of us, many of us perhaps, we think of mindfulness as like, now I'm going to meditate, I'm going to practice mindfulness, and we have that intention and we set a timer, and that's, we're practicing. And the point, the purpose is continuous mindfulness, continuous mindfulness. Bhikkhu Analayo says this about mindfulness. Mindfulness, modern psychological research has shown that attention comes in discrete moments. So these are things the Buddha knew 2,600 years ago. Now science proves it. That's cool. So, and it's helpful to show that attention comes in discrete moments. You can be attentive to something for only a very short period of time, and then you have to remind yourself, moment after moment, to return to it if you want to keep on being attentive. In other words, continuous attention that Sayadaw Upandita is mentioned here, continuous attention, the type that can observe things over time, has to be stitched together from these short intervals. So this is mindfulness, sati, is often translated as remembering because it has this quality of beginning again. Oh yeah, what am I paying attention to? Oh, what am I doing? What's actually happening right now? All day long. Or in our formal practice, what's my anchor that I'm paying attention to? That breath. In this case, tonight we're practicing with breath, but it could be, hearing meditation or walking meditation, loving kindness, etc. Many, many, many different kinds of anchors. Yeah, so for this practice of continuous attention, we need to remind ourselves, remembering sati, mindfulness, moment after moment, to keep paying attention. So in these qualities needed during meditation practice, Sayadaw Upandita goes on to say that to sustain continuous attention, continuous mindfulness, one needs these qualities. So I'll just list them first and then we'll go back to them. So the first is stability and durability. Stability and durability. The second is strong effort. The third, I found this one surprising and wonderfully surprising, and I think it's great, is courage. Courage. I love it. And then the fourth is discernment. What I started talking about, the discernment that this afternoon of what do I need? What practice is needed right now? What does my system need? Then this Pali word for discernment is called sampajanya. And I will put that here in the chat for people that are interested in the Pali. You do not need to know this. This is just here for, different beings have different interests and different things they like to study, different ways into the Dhamma, into the teachings and practice. So that's there in the chat. And I also said I would put in the name of this book, The State of Mind, called Beautiful. I always have to say it that way so I spell it properly. Beautiful. Okay. So let's talk about these qualities needed during meditation practice. This list I found a little bit surprising and refreshing, and I quite enjoy it. So stability and durability. This is lovely. stability, what conditions stability of attention, of awareness, of mind for you, for us? This is a very important question to reflect on. Part of this may be protecting the sense doors. What am I feeding myself with? Does it cause more agitation and mental proliferation and worry and remorse if I'm like listening to the news over and over again? Or is once a day or less helpful? Or am I watching scary movies or something? I don't know, like everybody has their own thing. So what you need to discern is what upsets stability, and what protects stability. So our precepts, our ethical foundation, our intentions to not cause harm, to be skillful with our words, to not take what isn't freely given, to not be heedless because of taking intoxicants that cause us, to the extent that we are being heedless or unskillful. So the precepts and ethics, your values, help to create stability. And durability is another part of this here. He's referencing stability and durability. So this to me kind of references or maybe part of what's called the requisites, the prerequisites for meditation practice, for mindfulness and meditation, are that we need the basics of safety, housing, shelter, perhaps medicines, or health supports for our health, nourishment, food, and rest. So this afternoon I was inexplicably very tired, and there was no durability or enough energy to be able to focus on breath or something. And so of using that discernment, what's needed, let's try moving and walking and being outside. And that was great. So what supports durability for you? Are you being nourished? Have you had enough rest? These are basic prerequisites, they're called. Stability and durability also sound like qualities of attention that are used in the beginning of concentration practice, Vitakka and Vichara, where we apply our attention and sustain the attention on the object. And this takes quite a strong intention to really continuously apply our attention, as was described here of from Bhikkhu Analayo, of how you can be attentive to something for a short period of time, moment after moment, returning to it. So this is Vitakka, where we keep returning and applying the attention. And then Vichara is when it's sustained. There's that durability where after practicing with that over and over, then at some point, the attention will just rest with the object. Okay, the second quality that Sayadaw U Pandita is mentioning here, needed for meditation practice, he says, is strong effort. I am very fond of this topic. Strong effort, right effort, wise effort is part of the Eightfold Path, the middle path of the way to the ending of suffering, of dukkha, is there's an eightfold path of how we engage with the practice, how we engage with the world and with ourselves. And one aspect of it is right effort, wise effort, also skillful effort. And so he's saying here, strong effort. This is interesting because, you know, depending on your character, the A-type people are like, yes, finally, they gave me permission, strong effort, I can do it. I'm gonna like nail that breath, I'm on it. And, you know, and then there's other people that are like, oh my goodness, oh, that sounds like too much effort. And that's not peaceful. You know, it depends on your character and your personality, what those words bring up for you or touch for you. Some people are like really into it. But of course, it's about the middle path. So if you know you're a real striver, a real, you know, you like to get on it. Up here we say get her done. If you know that that's your tendency, then you may need to back off a little bit and be a little softer, wider, more easeful. You know, so strong effort doesn't necessarily I would say it may be more helpful to say right effort or wise effort. And I mean, there's many, there's four aspects of wise effort, and there's other talks on this on the YouTube channel, and I won't be able to go into each one of them tonight, but it's a very, very important part of the path, meditation practice, effort. The third one he mentions here is courage. That's something I don't think I've heard before in qualities required for meditation practice. And I think it's great. I love that. Courage, what does that mean for you? Like, how does that apply to a meditation practice? It's really interesting. And it's courage is our ability to do something that is challenging or even frightening. It's the strength to venture into and persevere with uncomfortable places in our mind, in our body, in our emotions, in our relationships, in our understanding. So difficulty, fear, is not a place that we're usually inclined to lean into, open to. Of course, this also takes discernment about the appropriate amount and how to do that skillfully and with kind attention. But I like that this is here, this courage to persevere and to venture into our shadow places, our challenging relationships, because as we may know, this path and practice that the Buddha awoke to is about what's called dukkha, and the ending of dukkha, meaning stress, such an inadequate word for it, but suffering, all the ways that are painful in our hearts and minds. And we need to be able to meet with that. And this takes courage. And it is essential. It is a way through. It is a way, dukkha is a gateway. It is the way to freedom. It can't be bypassed. This takes courage. The fourth quality needed during a meditation practice that Sayadaw Pandita is offering here is this sampajanya or discernment. And the Pali English Dictionary defines sampajanya as attention, but goes further and says consideration, discrimination, comprehension, and circumspection. So you can see here that these qualities, consideration, discrimination, comprehension, and circumspection, there's reflection there, there's inquiry, there's curiosity, there's a different kind of knowing and understanding. It's not just bare mindfulness, sati, of returning to the object. It's really inquiring, what is this? How is it? What are its characteristics? So these mindfulness and sampajanya need to work together for insight, for awakening, for seeing the nature of how things are. And this discernment quality is to see the characteristics of everything being impermanent, arising and passing, being conditioned by infinite variables and factors that give rise to any given moment as it's unfolding. And because of that unreliability and out of our control, conditioned nature of everything, it's unreliable, which is dukkha, which is we can't just always get what we want to be how we want it, and we can't get rid of what we don't want when we don't want it. It's not always, it's most often not in our control. Bhikkhu Analayo compares this sampajanya or discernment to the yeast. Sampajanya is the yeast to the dough of mindfulness, which together creates the bread that becomes edible, that becomes the nourishment that we receive from our practice. So the mindfulness and this quality of this clear comprehension need to work together. Let me just go back here to anything I wanted to add there. Yeah. And so we'll practice with this in a moment with these 4 qualities needed. And Thanissaro Bhikkhu says this about this discernment or clear comprehension sampajanya practice quality. So he says, one quality that's always appropriate in establishing mindfulness is being watchful or alert. The Pali word for alertness, sampajanya, is another term that's often misunderstood, he says. It doesn't mean being choicelessly aware of the present or comprehending the present. He says that it means being aware of what you're doing in the movements of the body and in the movements of the mind. So this connects us again to formal practice, but also daily life. Continuity of awareness is being aware of what you're doing in the movements of the body and being aware of what's happening in the movements of the mind. And he finishes by saying, after all, if you're going to gain insight into how you're causing suffering or how suffering is arising, how we're contributing to suffering, your primary focus always has to be on what you're actually doing. Makes sense. This is why mindfulness and alertness should always be paired as you meditate. So that's the yeast and the dough again. That it's not just mindfulness, but it's the alertness, it's this discernment, clear comprehending what is actually happening in the layers of the mind and the body. Yes. I think that's it. And poem. My friends here on the Zoom know who it's from. Rosemary Witola Trummer. And this poem is called I Finally Understood Why I Meditated. And Rosemary says, nothing happened today as I sat for 5 minutes in the dark, but all day I could feel the everywhere of it. Even as the car was sliding sideways down the hill, even as my daughter wept, even as my singing group laughed until we cried, I could feel it still there. The silence that holds up all sound. The stillness that cradles all motion. The peace that supports every disaster. The sky behind the clouds. Thank you, Rosemary. So let's practice qualities needed during meditation. Thank you, Saida Vandita. So we want for this practice to have some attention to our posture. For me, earlier this afternoon, if I'd laid down to practice, I probably would have fallen asleep. So check out, what's your energy? What do you need? If your body's in a lot of pain and that's just going to grab all of your attention, you might need to lay down. If you're doing that and there's sleepiness, you could raise your forearm or have your knees up so that if you're falling asleep, that movement will awaken you. If you're sitting upright in a chair or kneeling or sitting on a meditation cushion, we want the body to be upright and supported. So the legs are supported on the ground or on cushions, or feet on ground if you're sitting in a chair. I'm sitting away from the back of the chair, but the back of my hips are touching the back of the chair. So I feel that support in the hips, but the spine is upright. And then feeling into what posture for your eyes is conducive to and supports awakening. So some people are very distracted with eyes open by, looking at delights and entertaining ourselves with vision. And so resting the eyes closed might be helpful for you. And for others, if eyes are closed, then it gets a bit too dreamy or drifty. So you might find opening the eyes a little bit and bringing in some light without getting into entertaining sights is helpful for you. So coming to rest into the intention and the uprightness, the stability of your posture. a support and stability in the posture that will support durability and the ability to sustain and continue with our practice through this time. I'm just arriving and settling into our posture and seeing if there's any tension in your places of habit tension that may not be needed right now. So you could check into where that is for you if you're familiar with your habit place of tension, perhaps the jaw or shoulders, belly or hands, or other places. So take a few moments to check that out and see if there's anything that could be let go of that isn't needed right now. When you feel grounded, alert, relaxed, at some point you may notice the sensation of breathing that's already happening. When you feel that sensation, it can be the cue to begin remembering. Remembering that as your anchor for your practice tonight. Before the recording, we were practicing being with breath sensation by pairing the movement of the breath with the gentle movement of the hands. You can just do that for a few rounds to help you really connect to the full sensation of breathing that's happening. The length of the inhale. Each inhale. Knowing and feeling the felt experience of the moment when the inhale ends. And then the exhale begins. Length of the exhale. The felt experience when the exhalation ends. And then a whole breath. Inhale, ending. Exhale, ending. Moment after moment. Remembering that continuous attention has to be met with intention. It has to be stitched together, reminding ourselves moment after moment to return, to be attentive to this full experience of each breath. And the breath becomes natural, allowing the breath comes and goes and is known. Expanding, contracting, rising, falling, filling, releasing. Of course, the attention will move to other thoughts or sounds, sensations, and we remind ourselves to return with these qualities of stability and durability and strong effort, right effort, wise effort. Perhaps as some stability and durability begin to be cultivated. there will still arise for us other objects of attention. Could be sensation, strong sensation in the body, distracting or strong sounds, challenging states of mind or heart. So if something like this is arising, it could just be lightly noted. And then this reminding ourselves to be attentive with this breath again. But if you're experiencing something stronger, then we can let go of the breath for a few moments. And here, perhaps this is where the courage could arise in the practice to just gently know to venture into meeting with what's showing up. Not jumping on the train or adding to the story. Courage is the ability to do something that is difficult. So we could just know if there's difficulty arising. And with this can come the discernment, what is needed. Compassion, metta, knowing its quality of being conditioned, impermanent, unreliable. Just a few moments with that if something strong's arising for you. And then resting again with the breath. This discernment, sampajanya, means being aware of what we're doing, what the movements of the body are and the movements of the mind. stability and durability. Wise effort. Courage. Clear comprehension. Continuous attention stitched together. Courage to persevere. Strength to continue. And as we're aware of this intention, and as Saida Pandita said, the crux of meditation practice is to sustain continuous mindfulness. In a few moments, as you hear the 3 bells from the ringing of the bowl, to see if some continuity of awareness and mindfulness can move with you through the hearing, into perhaps eyes opening or and body moving, and not necessarily ending when the bell rings. So being aware of what you're doing in the movements of the body and the movements of the mind. So if you've joined us in the YouTube recording of the practice or on Dharma Seed, there's links down below or beside for to offer support if you're able, for the continuation of the teachings. Thank you. And I'll also put the links to things I referenced, books and poetry, etc. Thank you. And if you're here on the Zoom call, you're welcome to stay, and we'll have some discussion if you choose. All right.